And at that time, I had been, I guess, running this group for a couple of years, and I had taken a year off actually, and it was Ed Bailey who had been running it. I think I came in September, and in my background in the past, I had worked on some prosthetics, orthotics, products for people that need devices. I met April at the meeting, and I wish I had this sketch. April talked to me and showed me that she had, she's a nurse anesthesiologist. So her job in life is to keep you alive when you're in surgery, specifically keeping you breathing. Her job involves a particular motion of grabbing your head, because when you're sedated, your throat collapses and everything goes soft. When you're sedated, there's a specific process to grab your neck and push it up and push it back so you have an open airway, so you can keep breathing. Because breathing is a good thing. In her education, in her school, it was weeks, if not months, of training. And it got to her, and it made her think there's got to be a better way. The inventor's mantra, right? There's a better way. So to remind herself of this idea that she wanted to accomplish someday in her life, she made this little sketch in a notebook. It was about 1/4 of an inch, and it just showed 2 little arrows like this. So when I met April, that's how we started here. Those of you that know me know I have an approach to doing everything. I look at things, we look at what is going to be the concerns, what are the problems, then what are the solutions, and then we do it and we try it. So that's APE in my world, approach, plan, and execute. Yes, inventors find solutions to problems. April's problem was keeping the head up. Not only did she have this one little sketch, she already had the name for it. It was going to be the JED, the Jaw Elevation Device. She knew from the beginning this is what it was going to be, and then she also knew that if she could make this happen, it was going to revolutionize her industry. So, I made a sketch. Well, weeks. See if I can get any better with this. I know the last gentleman was asking this too, but I don't have all the controls here. I'm going to go all off, sorry. It might be a little bit easier, okay? Is that too dark?
Yeah,
is that cool?
fine.
Okay. So, April met me, we sat down, we talked a little bit. I came up with a little sketch. I'm thinking, all right, what she wants to do is grab, hold, push up, rotate, lock, let it go, it should stay there. Came up with a little concept idea, 2 views of it. I cartoon, I'm no great artist, this is my limit of, and this is all paper, I'm old school. Point is I can get down in my garage and I can make a model. We did. Well, one little brave soul, which is her own daughter, modeled. And we quickly saw, even with our model, because I made a very small little working model, we needed a small person to try it, that it would work. We showed this model to a team of some other doctors here in town, the head of anesthesia at UCSD Medical, and he saw it, he goes, why didn't we think of that before? He himself was an inventor. He invented the prone view, the device that if you're face down during an operation, it protects your face with a pad. So we immediately, in our very first instance of meeting somebody, went to somebody who had already been in the industry, brought a product to market in this industry, and he validated it on the spot, looking at that little model. Another gentleman was brought in. We started doing some evaluations on what is this product going to look like. These are the very first sketches. You guys are going to actually see this whole process from start to end here. So, starting with the concept of what is it going to take to hold the head. It's going to take a cradle. We need something that's going to go up and down, so there's going to be an up and down thingy. It's going to have some arms to do some tilting, so there's going to be some arms. We got to grab the jaw somehow, so there's going to be a jaw grabby thingy somehow. And so if you line it all up, you end up with what the very first concept was. And look at the dates on this. This is basically in January now. So with the concepts in line and in mind, and speaking of which, your timing is perfect, dear April. Please have a seat. Yes, folks, this is April King. I'm stealing your thunder here. April, please bear with me as I go through the explanation of how the JED was born, okay?
Yes, okay.
Thanks. From the sketches, we went to what's the next thing. You have to put a presentation together. And at this stage, we start off with Palo Alto software, as explained. It's a way to get started. It showed us the things we had to work on. We put the presentation together, and April was able to pitch it successfully. And from that, we did get the seed money to get things going. So first stage is, all right, well, let's get off of Adrian's cartoon sketches and design something for manufacturing and study this design. So again, look at the dates on this when it started. Here's February. And we're starting with some basic designs and looking at it in just virtual reality now. As we progress, we make revisions, we're making changes, we're making adjustments. We also went through a couple of engineers. Actually, one of you in here has been really helpful. It's been Chris Baker, I think it was Gen 3. So here's coming to March. Again, you're seeing evolution of the design work, all on computer. But what we're aiming for is to make prototypes, and we are going to use, and we do use, stereolithography to make the parts. So as these parts get more and more detailed, we flesh it out. We finally get to where we have the working design for manufacturing drawings. For the entire assembly, I think it was 40-something parts to this whole thing. And that's what an exploded view of it looked like. And there was the first model. And this first model, we built it, and it was beautiful. I think that's still in a case, trophy case perhaps somewhere. It's one of our first ones. But that was just the first, and of course we broke it, we trashed it, we figured out how it could break. And bear in mind again, we're dealing with stereolithography parts. They're not designed for full use. It's modeling, but we're still testing it, knowing if it can survive what we're doing with these materials when it's finally injection molded, it's going to be really killer. So, as we test it, this is one of hundreds of pictures, yes April, one of hundreds of pictures where we tested physically all these models and came up with those improvements. Alright, so finally got to a point where we had a device that was really looking like it's what we wanted. And a few more models and shots were done, and these shots were used because another great resource here in town is Judy Balian. She helped us put together all of this marketing materials, and this was the very first trade show. You know, I brought a little chronology so I get the dates straight on here. Unless you happen to know, remember off the top of your head. 2008, 2009. Well, we went to trade shows. The whole point was to get to the trade shows and see what the industry thinks. We weren't there to sell. With this little ad for a Starbucks card, we recruited dozens and dozens of doctors to fill out a questionnaire. And we got all our marketing information off of these trade shows. But this is what the great thing about the trade show was. When we show up, it's empty. We've got our materials, brand new product in an industry trade show. Who knows what's going to happen? You know, there's one person comes by and talks about it, a little bit of interest. Next thing you know, there's 2 or 3 people piling up. Then there's more, and then we're just swamped. Absolutely swamped. And now this happened 2 or 3 times over the next 2 years. It was actually a process of evolution, again, to get everybody's feedback, find out what was going to be necessary. And before long, and I might be a little bit out of order, we realized we had a great product. It was time to think about making real parts. And with the investment money we had, we realized we had to make a commitment. We put some funds out and started talking to a local company about doing the hard tooling. About this time, it was after years of being at these trade shows, you get to meet the reps of your industries, of course, at these trade shows. And one of the largest reps in the time was a company called LMA. Now LMA had made their fortunes in laryngeal mask airway devices, just this field. So when we're at these shows, they've got this huge booth and all their salespeople, and they're all sitting there bored and they're looking at us, and we're, you know, cram-packed with people in a tiny little booth, and they're going, what's going on here? That's a hot product. We created a buzz. Connections have been made. They were nurtured. Discussions went into place, and we got into negotiations, and we actually signed a licensing agreement with LMA to, pardon me? A distribution, licensing agreement for distribution. We kept the manufacturing rights. They distributed it for us. And again, this is the largest company in the world that took on the product. So that was an amazing day. We had a great negotiation with them, actually. As part of it, they helped fund the company and launch it. Very cool way to not dilute a lot. So the product is taken off. Again, you might recognize one of the test subjects here. Yeah, there's Mara in the photo. By this time, though, we've had enough studies and proof. We've put 400-pound people in this thing for hours and hours, and it works just perfect. It's always worked just perfect. So the idea was to go hands-free, as the saying says here. Along the process, yes, other people helped, by the way, with the license agreement. It was our own Leslie Wagner out here that helped us fine-tune it and get it to where the attorneys, all they had to do is check it off, so it was really helpful. Getting the patent work done, I think that was Shepard Mullen, I believe, we were working with to get us the design patents. So it has both a utility patent for the device itself and design patents on the disposables. And all of that occurred, and this is April at Mount Sinai Hospital, and this is a very famous anesthesiologist who I'm sure you all know quite well. She's a very well-known, recognized anesthesiologist, and here's April, quite proud to say that she's operating this device hands-free. This is an actual operating room environment. So, about this time, I had my personal issues, and I resigned. I stepped down from the company. I had incubated Hypnoz for quite a few years. They took off and they moved. They've got a great office, really beautiful down here in Sterno Valley. And a short time later, there is an annual award process here in town, and we did enter, and Hypnoz won the 2011 Most Innovative New Product Award here in San Diego from Connect. So that was a tremendous, tremendous. Of which I was quite happy to attend the meeting. And as now, it's an interesting process. Years have gone by. There's been news this year, as a matter of fact, that big distributor was bought. And as things would have it, that you might go, well, now what happens? Well, that opens the door to all kinds of new opportunities. So we're going through and seeing Hypnoz launch even bigger and further now. And to top it all off and to conclude, and with great pride and joy to say that April King, an anesthesiologist who was like one of you, a person with an idea back in 2007, will next month be on the cover of the biggest trade journal of our industry, the American Association of Nurses and Anesthesiologists.